Is there anything that you've done that you regret doing?
Do you ever look at someone and wonder what is going on inside their head?
I was kicked out of uni.
He was throwing punches at someone's mom.
No, there's nothing that like went horrendously wrong.
Coach Greg, and talk about not aging well, the Clavicular interview by Ive Coffeehour, it's got to go down in history. I've already watched the video, about 2 hours. I've got all the timestamps, and I'm going to show you how ridiculous Clavicular really is. I think the highlight for me was when he said, you know, Mr. Beef, he's a sociopath, and I never get this wrong, and that he's not impulsive. You know, he does everything calm, cool, collective. He doesn't ever act on impulses, you know, like driving over somebody who jumps on his car.
Which social medias are you banned from?
I am banned from Instagram and YouTube right now.
And since this, add to that Kick. And so the first time you get banned, well, you ask yourself, you know, maybe it's them. Second time, you start to wonder. Third time, maybe you, in fact, are the problem.
Do you know why you got banned?
Something to do with like the new AI moderation system. I had one of my live accounts taken down that uploads like my Kick VODs.
Yeah, and you know, driving over somebody. You know, those three things.
How much have you spent on your current looksmaxxing journey?
I probably spend $50,000 to $80,000 a year just on like peptides.
But yet he can't afford testosterone. What women often complain about is how much money they have to spend on their bodies. You know, their looks, makeup, hair, all the things. But what they don't realize is that men who care about their looks actually spend more. You don't believe me? I met a guy, he said he spends $6,000 a month on growth hormone, testosterone, peptides, not just on performance-enhancing drugs. And by the way, if you're looking for enclomiphene, testosterone, peptides, and so on, click the link in the description, Algo RX. Doctors will not gatekeep. They will prescribe to you exactly what you need at about half the price of Merrick Health. Shop around, do what you need to do. Code Greg for 10% off. And so, guys, we have to spend way more money. Do you know how much a good suit can cost? Yesterday, a friend of mine came over, $12,000 for a brand new suit. How much money does a woman have to spend to look good? A $50 skirt and a tank top, you're doing fine.
And like a lot of nootropic related stuff that really pushes the price up. So like intelligence maxing is like another thing I do.
Clearly it isn't working because a smart man doesn't drive over somebody who jumps on his car and puts his entire life in jeopardy. And so no matter how many peptides you're taking to improve your IQ, it's going to be superseded or overcome by the fact you're drinking alcohol, doing math, sniffing creatine, and taking steroids. You're not doing the low-hanging fruit. You're spending up to $80,000 to looksmax when all you needed to do was go to the gym and get a proper tan.
Do you think it's possible to go from a 4 to an 8?
Once again, it's just very context-oriented, so I couldn't give you an answer there.
He clearly needs some more brain maxing. Is it possible to go from a 4 to an 8? Of course it is. How does he not answer, yes, it's possible? Oh, it depends on the context, it depends on this. Is it possible? Yes, it is. If you're a fat piece of shit and you lose weight, you very easily could go from a 4 to an 8. If you're a woman and you get surgeries, hair extensions, lip filler, breast implants, lose weight, build your ass, dress lightly, put on makeup, you might go from a 4 to a 10 for all we know.
So remember when I first saw you, I think it was you were at the gym and I thought maybe you were joking about like snorting something before working out. And I'm like, what the there's no way.
He wasn't joking about snorting something. We all know he wasn't kidding. Sniffing creatine, doing math, these are not things he's joking about. These are things he's actually done. Thankfully, he says it's been over 2 weeks now that he stopped. And so hopefully he can continue because we've seen it. He's lost 15 pounds of muscle. He's not going to the gym. And so he can't take his own advice. When you looksmax, it's not about smashing your bones, doing limb lengthening surgeries, or getting a double jaw implant. It's not about that. It's about doing the little things and being consistent. Going to the gym, losing weight, getting a haircut. These things are very simple, low-hanging fruit that every one of us can and should be doing.
I'm not going to sit here and act like I'm some like influencer. Like I'm not, okay? I've never claimed to be.
How does he claim to not be an influencer, yet he's influencing people as well as selling a course for $49 to teenagers on how to look smack? No, I don't claim to be an influencer, proceeds to influence.
Increasing my productivity. So when I was up and coming with like the whole streaming game and when I was doing my YouTube videos, I could just be more productive.
Couldn't you do that with like pre-workout or coffee?
And so rather than sniffing creatine and doing math, he's saying, couldn't you just do like what a normal person would do? You know, take some coffee, perhaps some pre-workout. The Blue Lobster pre-workout, it hits hard and it's legal. You don't need to resort to sniffing this and taking that. Why not just get some pre-workout? Code Greg 15% off. I mean, is it really that confusing?
I mean, I've always been like kind of a stim maxer and I
What's
was
that?
like a stimulant user,
Okay.
stimulant maxer.
So I'm a boomer.
Guys, in case you don't understand this, we're almost 2026. Anything you can do it to the max. GO2 max, GLP max, Turk Builder max, Looks max, Stim max. Do everything to the max. Max out on your bench press for all I care. And so it's not that funny. It's not that creative. It's simply maximizing whatever you're doing. If you're interested in supplement maxing, you already know where to go. These supplements are the best in the world, the best in the industry leaders. And so if you're looking for the best supplements in the world, bar none, code Greg 15% off. Click the link in the description.
So you're the exception that you feel like you could control it, use it.
Well, I've got strong willpower, right?
I've got strong willpower, says the man who needs to do math in order to lose some weight around his face, who injects 15 milligrams per week of Retta. This is a ridiculously high dose. Strong willpower, but yet needs everything, all the pharmaceutical enhancements in order to try to get to the gym, and he gets there once in a month. He has very weak willpower, and that's why he needs to do all these things. If he had such strong willpower, he could lose weight without all of this, without even getting my cookbook. And so he claims that this cookbook is a scam, that somehow you're scammed into losing weight. You buy the book and you follow in the recipes and you lose weight. How complicated is that? How is this a scam? I mean, literally, I would love to see him come up with an answer. How is me selling a cookbook, which many people want, almost 100,000 have bought it, how is that a scam?
Is there anything that you've done that you regret doing?
Is there anything that I regret doing? No, there's nothing that like went horrendously wrong.
I mean, this didn't age so well. Is there anything you regret doing? I don't know, driving over that fan, driving over him recklessly, using a deadly weapon, which is a vehicle, a Cybertruck, when I was sitting in that vehicle, which is bulletproof, and some goofball jumps on the car. And rather than slamming down the horn, saying to him to get away, or maybe just driving to the left. You know, when you're trying to escape and flee, if you're actually thinking that your life is in danger, which everyone knows that it's not, we have the video evidence, it was caught in 4K, rather than veering towards him and driving over him, you veer away and go to the left. You drive off, you call the police, hey, there's this stalker, I don't like him, and you need to do something about it. If you drive over him and you're caught in 4K, it's not going to end well. He thinks nothing went horrendously wrong. What about that attack with that 56-year-old woman and that 63-year-old man? Or what about getting kicked out of university for drugs? You know, nothing in my life has ever gone wrong.
What's going on? I saw a clip on Twitter of you, some girl on stream.
Yeah.
Why?
We're going for more facial leanness, killing fat cells.
Yeah, killing fat cells, more facial leanness, of which when you get older, you're going to want increased facial fat cells. And so you're trading in your future for looking better right now. And obviously, you could have lost that weight by being in a deficit. You know, why didn't you get your girl my cookbook, Clav? I mean, she's 17. You could have said, hey, you know, cook me some of these delicious recipes and perhaps some eggy rice. And both of you could have lost weight by eating in a healthy diet. That would have been smart. Nope. I'm going to inject these fat dissolvers into her face into a 17-year-old.
Are you qualified?
I'm not like a nurse PA, if that's what you're asking, but what makes someone qualified to something that's got essentially no risk profile?
I mean, after all, you're much more qualified with no qualifications whatsoever than a certified PA. You know, Clav has more qualifications than a PA or perhaps a surgeon or a doctor who's licensed to do this. He has more qualifications. Why? Because bro read it on the internet. He read it on a thread on Reddit.